Ah, no. Stink bug. No, seriously, it was. It's that guy. That guy. He's gonna land on my shirt. Hi. I don't have any treats in my pocket. Hi guys, how are you? Danielle Summerfield here on Summerfield Farm and Draft Horses. And boy, do I got a treat for you guys. Today, yes, he's not sure. Today, one of my neighbors, now you've probably heard me talking about him, and you've probably seen us on previous videos walking by his house. And he's the neighbor that lives up that way, and he owns the barrel racers. At least that's what I call them. I call them barrel racer horses because that's what they used to do. So he kind of reached out to me the other day and said, hey, you know, I've got something that's going on with one of my horses. Do you want to come out and check it out? And I said, yeah. So she was starting a founder, and she was having coffin bone rotation. Now, for those who don't know what that means, I will put in a picture of a normal coffin bone, which is inside the hoof capsule of the hoof. And it sits right in here, okay? It acts like a little fingernail to us, you know, if you had a fingernail inside a hoof capsule. So here's what a normal coffin bone is supposed to look like in a hoof capsule. Okay, so super easy. It's a little pointy thing, and it's really kind of cute. It's about that big, and it looks like a little horseshoe type thing, and it's really cute. So I'm also going to put in a picture of what a coffin bone looks like as it starts to rotate. Now sometimes, now our bones don't usually rotate, but on a horse, if they're unbalanced on their hoof or in their joints or anywhere, like this guy here, that coffin bone can rotate down. And what happens is, or what could happen, is that it could rotate so far that it actually pokes through the sole of the foot. Yeah, it goes through the bottom of the foot. So the bone sticks out, and it's awfully painful. So what happens prior to that is a horse will go lame, and it's called foundering. And you will see it on the outside of the hoof capsule as a ring or a divot. And a horse's hoof is like our fingernail, the way it grows, because you have the quick of your fingernail, and it grows from here down until you get to the top of your nail. Ours grows really fast. Theirs takes a year. So on Darcy here, this part here, let me see if I can turn this around a little bit. Okay, this part here, under all this hair, this is called the coronary band, and this is like the quick on your fingernail, okay? So the hoof, all of the hoof grows out of this coronary band, okay? This is a very blood-rich area, and it grows out just like your fingernail, okay? Now, as you can see, he's got some lines here, but these are not bad. These are just like lines from grass or whatever. But a horse that has foundered or has laminitis will have a groove. Stand still. Will have a big groove right here. And this is a timeline, like the lines of a tree, of what's going on in your horse over a year's time. Yeah, a year. Whole year. So up here is recent. Down here is old. So all of this stuff is from very much towards the last year. Stay put. And And all of this is new stuff. So this is probably the springtime, this is the summer, this was last fall. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So if you ever get a horse and you're looking for a horse, look at their feet first, and that'll tell you everything about their diet, what's going on, and so forth inside their bodies. So with this particular horse, I'm going to backtrack just a little bit because I need to tell you what's going on inside the hoof capsule as far as biology, okay? So the hoof capsule here, kind of like our fingernails, where we have something that attaches our fingernail to the bed of our nail. I don't know what it's called. I have no idea. But horses have the same thing. And it's really kind of this really neat stuff. And it's like a super, super high-powered Velcro, where on one side, which is the outside of the hoof capsule, this side, and then on the inside is where it attaches to the outside. So if I use this, say this is the outside of his hoof, the inside attaches here, and then your bone is right here, okay? Does that make sense? Probably not. Let me put in a picture. Okay, that diagram probably helped out a little bit. I'm really bad at explaining things if I don't have a picture to show you guys. So she started to have coffin bone rotation, and I've seen a lot worse, and we saw the picture of what was going on with her. He brought her to the vet, had some x-rays done. But he knows what to do. He just needed to see what's going on inside, and he knew exactly what to do to fix it. Now, a lot of people will tell you navicular syndrome is coffin bone rotation and white line disease and stuff like that. A lot of people will say in the old times that it's not curable, that you can't fix it. Hold on. That's better. But you can fix it. And you can fix it many, 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 many different ways. Every farrier has a different process on how they want to fix a rotation of a coffin bone like this back to a normal level plane, the way it's supposed to be. Now, I would show you Darcy's pictures, but his actually doesn't go this way. His is actually going this way, which is totally different subject, and I'm not even versed enough to discuss it yet because I'm still trying to wrap my brain around a coffin bone going this way versus that way. So what he did, and I've got some videos for you, is he invited me out over to the house to watch the whole process. And it was very odd. It was very strange. He is very old school, but he worked for universities. He has taught other farriers. The gentleman knows his stuff, and he really knows what he's doing. And he's been doing it for generations, like long, long, long time. And in talking to him, a lot of people think that he's got these crazy, wild ideas because this is not something that is practiced now, but it works. And it doesn't hurt the horse. And it actually makes perfect sense to do it. So, I have some video that was taken by somebody else that was there. And they asked me to put this together for you guys to kind of see and to kind of open your brains a little bit to an alternative way of thinking on how to care for your horse. Now, obviously, pay attention to your veterinarian because your veterinarians know everything, and farriers are always good, but remember, there's always one other way to get to the source of a problem, especially with horses. There is not one exact way because every horse is different. Like, he would not have tolerated the treatment from today. He would not have done it. He wouldn't have stood still long enough. But from what I saw when I got there, she was kind of already there. No sedation. She was very, very lame. She was shuffling around. It was, just for the 30 seconds that I was there before he started the process, I could tell she was in a little bit of pain. She just was shuffling her feet. She didn't want to lift her foot up. She was just trying to, she was very, very tender-footed. And after the whole process, she like walked away. So there's another video at the very end that shows her walking afterwards. So this works. This works really well. I don't suggest somebody who doesn't know what they're doing to do it. Definitely review things like this with your farrier and your veterinarian before you even try to do something like this. So with that said, and the disclaimer, there is no blood, there is no gore, there is no nothing. There's just some filing done. So I will play the video and let you guys think about the whole process, and we'll go from there. So I will be right back. Watch the video and enjoy.
This line, although messy, is at the point of rotation or the apex, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You know, there's where it is and here's where it should be.
Yeah, definitely.
So what I'm going to do is, see this outer hoof wall keeps pulling this hoof away.
Yeah, you can see how it's
Well,
starting to flare out like right about here.
Well, it starts pulling it right here.
Video.
Right from, so down here, your white line is probably that wide and it looks like a sponge instead of a white line. So this outer hoof wall, the new hoof wall just keeps following this old, it keeps pulling it.
Right, and then
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna separate it right here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go down, all the way down to the white line.
Okay.
I don't wanna go through it because I get blood if I go through it, live tissue.
Yeah, that'll hurt.
So what we're doing today is we're making it possible for nature to put the coffin bone back in this position where it originally was, and we'll have 100% healthy white line and a new hoof growth. And she'll be just like brand new. It'll take anywhere from 9 months to a year depending on the individual horse and how much activity they have in the pasture and what kind of ground they're on in the pasture to stimulate foot growth. So, we're ready to get started.
Sounds good to me.
I've already marked this line, but you can see where it happened anyway. She got a deep groove right here, right where it happened at. She got a deep groove. That's exactly where she found her at. And the coffin bone tried to fall out the bottom of her foot.
Okay.
So when we separate that, this will not, the new foot won't follow this line anymore. It'll follow the coffin bone.
Right, it'll continue growing from the coronary band straight down and follow this trajectory versus going and pulling
exactly.
it up.
Smart lady. I've already run the grinder on her foot for a little while, so she ought to be okay. Good night. Pretty good.
Yeah.
See how ugly that is?
Yes.
That's old
Old drive bad.
white line.
Yes. Okay.
Not very thin over here, thick at all right here.
I see your helper white line there.
See the healthy stuff versus where it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we don't have no problem back here we found. It's just the main part is this much of it,
Mm-hmm.
actually. I used to do this years ago. Worked with the vets at the state.
Mhm.
The show horses would take this much off their foot. And then when it repaired, we'd go over here and take this much off.
Yeah.
And then you're talking 2 to 3 year process of getting the horse back healthy. Now you can do it all at one time. Mama, that's as far as we need to go. As far as we need to go.
Now that's the only thing you have to do. You don't have. You just do that and
Do that, and
let
then
it grow out.
this hoof will follow the.
Yeah.
This part of the hoof will no longer follow this part.
And this will grow out. on
It'll
its
follow the coffin bone.
Huh.
And you have new healthy white line.
That is
Like I told you the other day.
Yeah.
We'll go to feeding her supplements, and the 14th day it's gonna start feeding that foot.
Right.
And I guess we
Any-
need to mention, she hasn't had any medication, no drugs, no nothing. She's
Yeah.
all natural.
Yeah. She's.
Your way?
You just loose, get your hand off her face and feed her, and she'll be alright.
Such a good girl. Yes, I'm a good girl. And my mama gonna give me some crackers in a minute. Yeah, so I'm gonna get me some
Same
crackers.
place, right there in that bad groove.
Say I'm a mutt.
We've met before.
Say I'm a mutt, but I'm my mama's mutt.
Mutts are the best. They're the best. Darcy's. a
She was so tiny when I brought her home. She was 4.5 months old. I literally picked her up and put her on the back of the trailer. She probably didn't weigh 100 pounds. And I wouldn't let her ride by herself. I rode in the back of the trailer with her.
all done.
That is really neat. And look, you can see all the, that's the healthy stuff. And then this is all that bad, right?
Yeah. I haven't got all the way, completely, all the way through all of it, but there's so little left, it won't pull it.
Be too hot.
It'll be good.
That is really fascinating. It really is.
I've been around some smart people. I used to do a lot of traveling, do a lot of clinics.
Are you rolling?
Instant relief. She could barely walk up to the carport. Look, instant relief. Instant relief. She couldn't even turn. Look at her turning.
Mm.
Say, that's amazing. That's amazing. Okay.
So what you think? It's pretty crazy, huh? This is really neat. I was like, wow, power tools on a horse hoof. I mean, I totally get it. I've seen people use grinders for trims and stuff, but I have never seen anything like that. And that was really fascinating. And the fact that she was moving normally, and after they put her in the pasture, she gave a good roll. She was walking around just fine. So the idea behind the theory behind how this works, okay, is just like a wedge, okay? A lot of people don't understand that when you put a shoe on a hoof, you keep that hoof in a normal position, and because the horse hoof flexes a lot. It flexes out. The horse steps on it and it pushes down and it flexes out. And everything inside it moves almost like a heart, you know? The pressure goes down, everything moves, it pushes the hoof wall out, and it does this as the horse is moving, right? So to put a shoe on a horse, you're basically walking around with steel plates on the bottom of your own feet. There's no flexing, there's no nothing. It's just hard impact after impact, and it takes a lot of toll on their feet as they take a step because they don't have that extra little cushion. Because if you walk, you'll notice on your heel that your heel squishes. You poke your heel, it squishes. Well, it's the same thing with their heels. It squishes, everything squishes and it moves, and it's essential to make sure that your hoof is healthy. Now, if you take a horse that has had a lot of shoes, if you notice, their frogs are very narrow versus nice and wide. The bottom of their hoof capsule is very thin. Sometimes they have thin soles. Sometimes it's very brittle. It's very unhealthy. But you see a barefoot horse like these guys, and they have a nice healthy hoof. They have the natural oil on the outside of the hoof wall, which is what they make, kind of like us, how we have that little grease on that makes our nails shiny. They have it too. And if you have a horse that has shoes, it tends to dry out more because it's not healthy. So there's a couple things to think about when you go out. See, I love feet. I love horse feet. So when you go out, look at other people's horses' feet, and you can tell a lot about their diet and their activity level and where they're being housed. Everything. It's a treat right there. Basically, tell everything just by looking at the feet. So when he did that, what happens is you have healthy hoof, and then you have, as it pulls, you have unhealthy hoof, and that makes the inside rotate out, because remember what I said earlier about the Velcro? You try to pull something with Velcro and it's gonna pull it before it lets go. All the little hooks and loops, it's gonna pull it before it lets go. So what happens is, say this is the cannon bone, and you have healthy hoof here, and then this is bad hoof, okay? So as the coronary band, we'll call this the coronary band here, nice natural hoof, this is gonna be bad hoof, and this is the coffin bone. And if a hoof looks like that, okay, what he did in essence is he cut this part away, right? So now you have kind of an opening like that, okay? And now you have greater flexibility. So that space is gonna allow the hoof to flex in a different way and not put so much pressure here because it's not one big piece anymore. It's two pieces. So the coffin bone, as this, in theory, as his new hoof grows down, of course, you trim off all the bad stuff on the bottom so all the flare goes away. So now it's being slid down, and now you'll have a perfect coffin bone in your hoof wall. That's the theory behind it. I'm really curious to find out how this is all going to work. So I want to go back in 6 months because that's about the halfway point. And by 6 months, that part that he cut away should be near the bottom because he cut it maybe about 3 months growth from the top of the coffin, top of the coronary band down. So in 6 months, it should be near the bottom. And I really am curious to see how that angle is growing. So I'll have to remember to ask him that because I'm really curious. That'll be really neat to see how that worked out. So I would like to leave the comments on for this video, but if you guys start to get all fussy, I'm gonna turn them off, or I'll go through and I'll delete it. So don't put any type of hate comments because this is different and it's unusual, and just don't do it because it'll get deleted. So I'm gonna moderate this one pretty heavily. No. Stink bug. No, seriously, it was. It's that guy. That guy. He's gonna land on my shirt. So anyway, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you learned something. And if you need any information from him, because he's a brilliant guy, he said to put his contact information in the comments. Do not call him and be mean, okay? Because I'll get on you guys about it. Don't spread it around that he's been awful, because he's a nice guy. And he knows what he's doing. He's brilliant. So anyway, he told me to put his contact information in the comments, which I will. And if anybody has any questions on the video and wants to discuss it with him, I'm sure if you call and leave a message, he will return your call and you guys can discuss, because it seems like he really likes to educate me. I love to learn, so this is all good. So I will call it a night. I'm gonna go make some dinner, or I might actually go out and get some burgers tonight. I haven't decided. Burgers or pizza? Both are junk food, it doesn't matter. So I got things to do. I'm gonna get their dinner ready, and I gotta feed the cows and feed the horses and feed the dogs and feed the chickens and feed the people. And you guys have a great night. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time on another eventful episode of Summerfield Farm and those guys, draft horses. They're sleeping. Good night, guys.